guys, Will here with W.T.F Car Reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing this all-new Jeep Wrangler 392.
And huge thanks to PJ and the rest of the management and staff here at Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram of Tampa Bay for making this review possible. I'll leave a link to their inventory below, and if you're in the Tampa area looking for a new car, SUV, or truck, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out.
And for those of you guys who don't know, the Jeep Wrangler directly derived from the U.S. Army World War II Jeep as the CJ, or civilian Jeep, from 1940 all throughout 1986, right before Chrysler ended up purchasing it in 1987. So from 1986 and 1987, that's when the YJ model Jeep Wrangler was finally released. And since then, we've had 4 Chrysler sold generations of the Jeep Wrangler. So the 4th generation, or JL Wrangler that you see here, is available now in 4 different engine options, starting with the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, cranking out a healthy 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, which is an incredible improvement compared to the previous generation Wrangler, which also had a V6. I believe it was a 3.8-liter or a 4-liter, making barely 200 horsepower while still barely getting over like 14 miles per gallon. So the 3.6-liter Pentastar really addressed a lot of the Wrangler's issues. For 2022, we also get a 2-liter turbo cranking out 270 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. That motor can help get the new Wrangler to 60 in just 6 seconds. The Pentastar V6 can get to 60 around 6 seconds too. I believe Car and Driver tested the 3.6 at 6.1, 0 to 60, and the 2.0T at 6 on the dot. There's also a 2.2-liter turbo diesel to 4-cylinder turbo diesel, cranking out 197 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque, and that can get the Wrangler to 60 in 7.5 seconds. That's much more efficient compared to the 2-liter turbo and the 3.6-liter Pentastar V6. If you're all about the efficiency, you can go for the 4xe, which is a plug-in hybrid 2-liter turbo Wrangler, cranking out 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. The same torque figure that you see here for the 392, the 4xe can do 60 around 5.5 seconds, so very quick vehicle, one of the quickest Wranglers ever sold. The quickest Wrangler ever sold, however, you're looking right at it. It's the 392, featuring the 6.4-liter V8, Hemi V8, basically straight out of the Scat Pack and SRT 392. Also, I guess the 2500 pickup trucks from the Ram, but we're not going to count that. In this application, cranking out 470 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque. Jeep advertises 0 to 60 at 4.5 seconds. However, Car and Driver did it in just 4. Car and Driver also reached a quarter-mile time of 12.9 seconds, which is less than half a second slower than a Scat Pack. A Scat Pack's about 12.5 seconds, so really impressive acceleration. We'll check it out once we take it out for a drive. This thing is so surprisingly quick. I think it's even quicker, at least to 60, than a Scat Pack. The top speed, however, is limited to 112 miles per hour. You might think that's lame, but honestly, trust me, you want that to be limited to 112 miles per hour, because after about like 75, 80 miles an hour, this still feels exactly like a Wrangler. 392 is a little bit pricey, I know, starting close to 80,000 bucks, but this is basically a Jeep G-Wagon G63. We get full-time 4-wheel drive with low range, off-road plus, which can lock the rear differential at high speeds. We get an active exhaust, hood scoop with active drainage system, which separates up to 15 gallons of water per minute from the intake air. We also have a secondary tunnel if that original tunnel, the main tunnel, gets clogged. We get a stronger frame to accommodate the extra weight and extra capability thanks to this extra power. 2-inch lift, Fox dampers. We get a 3.5-inch lift if you go for the Rubicon package, as well as upgraded rear brakes. So as we mentioned, with a base price at almost 80,000 bucks, let's see what we get. So up front, you notice your full LED headlamps. We don't have the daytime running strips on right now, but once we start this Rubicon 392 up, you'll be able to really see that outer ring for your LED headlight. I'm liking this front end styling too for the radiator. Very large radiator. We need a ton of cooling for the 6.4-liter V8. I'm liking those gold tow hooks too. The LED fog lights, LED daytime running lights in the corner, and as we mentioned, that fully functional hood scoop. 392 right on your hood bulge. The bulge is very necessary for this absolutely massive motor, almost double the size of the factory 3.6. Well, not almost double the size, but you get what I'm saying. We get the latches to open up your hood too, which we'll check out in 1 second, and a full steel bumper, front parking sensing. These 35-inch tires are specific also to this 392 Wrangler. These are Falcon Wild Peak MT tires, beadlock capable, 5-piece lug pattern, and with this all-wheel drive system or 4-wheel drive system, it can put the power down surprisingly well. You can get a good look at your Fox racing shocks, your upgraded frame, full solid front axle, so as far as like ride quality, typical Jeep Wrangler, we get the sway bar too, and an active sway bar. We'll check that out inside. These fender flares, super aggressive, trail rated 4x4 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. The doors are all removable, so is the roof. I'll show you guys how to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I'll show you where the latches are to do so. Out rear, same wheel and tire setup, of course. Beadlock, Falcon, Wild Peak, all-terrain tires, and a smaller brake caliper would be the only difference. You see your Fox Racing shock. The lift kit is absolutely menacing. This is a aggressive vehicle. We get a power running board too. We'll check that out once we step inside. The fuel cap, it's not a push to open or anything like that, but you can just open it up. No easy fill, but you can twist and open. I'd recommend 93 octane fuel for this 6.4 liter Hemi. LED daytime running light out rear, LED reverse light and turn signals. Shout out Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram of Tampa Bay for making this review possible. More gold tow hooks, trailer hitch. I'll show you what this Wrangler 392 is rated to tow in 1 second. Full size spare tire, really impressive rear end. You can notice your quad exhaust tips down here too. This is an active exhaust system, and speaking of the exhaust, let's fire up the 6.4 liter Hemi and hear how she sounds. All right, guys, that was, of course, the sound of the 6.4 liter Hemi V8 sold by Jeep for the 2021. This is a 2021 Jeep Rubicon 392. It sounds absolutely fantastic with this active exhaust, cranking out 470 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque. You can expect to get to 60 between 4 and 4.5 seconds, which is really fast. As you mentioned, we get that Jeep Hydro Guide tunnel for the intake to make sure all that water is far, far away from that actual intake tunnel, and we have 2 different chambers of suction. But we can shut this hood right up as soon as you figure it out, because the prop rod can be a little bit tricky, but all right, we got it figured out. Very heavy hood, and I just remembered we got these latches here, so I really didn't have to slam it as hard as I did. But as soon as the latches are figured out, there we go. Cool. We can take a step back, get a look at those daytime running lights now for the headlights, get a good look at the overall undercarriage of that suspension. Very nice, and those LED fog lights, super aggressive too. But the most aggressive part about this SUV is this wheel and tire setup. If we didn't get the chance to check out that rear suspension, I'm gonna try to squat right back here so you can pick it up. We get locking front and rear diffs for this off-road SUV. But as far as this interior, let's take a step inside. We get smart access for the driver and a front passenger, which is nice. Blind spot monitoring and a heated outside mirror. One thing that I'm kind of confused about is, unlike the Bronco, where the Bronco specifically integrates their mirrors on their windshield, that way if you end up taking off your doors, you still have access to your mirrors. But Jeep doesn't do that, so if you take your doors off, you're losing your mirrors, which is kind of unfortunate. But one thing that Jeep does that the Bronco doesn't do is this windshield folds flat down, and it rests on those little rests. I'm not quite sure what exactly to call them, but this folds down so you can get the true open air experience if you are off-roading. But then good luck cleaning out the interior of your car. Just a fair warning, if you got the doors off and the windshield down, your car is going to be covered in sand for the interior. But taking a step inside, we can check out the materials. So up top, soft touch. Middle portion is leather contrast stitching. We're sitting at a church right now. Of course, the bells are ringing, so we'll hurry out this outside portion. We get a cargo net, aluminum door handle, lock and unlock, 4-way adjustable mirrors. No speaker on the door panel though. We wouldn't want too many electronics because, again, these doors are removable. Only complaint that I have is the electronics for the mirrors are on the door, so once you take the door off, you lose functionality of the mirrors. But the power running boards are appreciated. They are AMP research. The seats aren't power seats. For this price point, I would expect power seats. We got the lumbar adjustments, height adjustments, and the recline, and the slide latch is down beneath. Rubicon 392 seats, they are heated, not ventilated. I would also want ventilated seats for this price point, but that's not what this SUV is about. It's about the performance. So before we take it out for a drive, let's just finish off this interior real quick. So first thing you notice is the steering wheel. Typical Wrangler steering wheel, but we get some more perforated leather material. Very thick paddle shifters. Typical Mopar paddle shifters. It's only half a paddle shifter, and the skip and volume adjustments are right beneath it. Jeep badge in the center, the horn. Pretty aggressive sounding horn. People should definitely be getting out of your way. The steering wheel controls. On the left side, it's your infotainment. Answer your phone calls, voice commands, and you can hang up your phone calls. Radar cruise control with stop and go. You can set it up right out over there. The stocks are pretty satisfying click. We get the auto headlamps. The auto headlamps are functioned right to the left of the steering wheel. Interior brightness too. All appreciated fog lights, and hopefully you can get a good look at your pedals down beneath. We don't get a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel. The latch to tilt the steering wheel is right over here. Hopefully you can pick it up on camera. The dashboard gets a nice stitching material. This sound system is one of the better sound systems we've heard on this channel. I can't demonstrate it for you guys for copyright purposes, but you can take my word for it. This sound system is really good. 3 garage home link settings on the mirror. We get the passenger airbag assist, SOS, frameless rear view, auto dimming, 8.4-inch touchscreen, and it has a pretty satisfying response to it. We can check out the navigation as soon as it loads up. It's better resolution compared to the Challenger we just reviewed in this channel, and the response is fantastic too. We get media, climate, we get the overall controls right over here, heated seat and a heated steering wheel. Unfortunately, no cooled or ventilated seats, so it would be nice to get that for a SUV in this price point. Anyway though, we get the backup camera, mirror, dimmer, and the overall settings, which we can check out. Language, display, units, voice, clock, all that you can check out and pause, see anything that can be adjusted. My personal favorite to look at all times would probably be just the nav. The screen is just outlined in this rubberized material. The rest of the dashboard is just this hard plastic, but it looks pretty nice. Beneath that, satisfying resistance for the volume adjustment, engine start stop, defroster, heated steering wheel, heated seats, more defrosters, vent controls if you don't want to use the automatic climate, mute. You have your active exhaust. I'm not sure if you can pick it up on camera, but it does make a noticeable difference. This is with the active exhaust off. Pretty quietish, kinda, not really, but this is with the active exhaust on. Yeah, hopefully you guys can pick up the difference on camera. I got the new microphone, so hopefully it's a little more crisp than before. Traction control you can disable, parking sensors you can also disable, hill descent control, you can turn your screen off. 12 volt, pretty cool. Mirror controls are in the center, that's appreciated since these doors do remove, and it's a pretty good way to limit the electronics running between the door and fuse box. But anyway, beneath that, well, not beneath that, the media includes USB-C, USB, and aux port, 2-way locking front and rear differentials, off-road plus, which locks the rear differential at high speeds, and a sway bar, which you can activate at all times. We get 4 auxiliary modes, 4 high, 4 auto, we get neutral, and 4 low. We don't get 2-wheel drive, full-time 4-wheel drive with this absolute beast of a motor, making almost 500 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque, almost 470 and 470. The gear selector controls your 8-speed automatic transmission. We could throw it into drive. Hopefully you can pick up that old school CJ civilian Jeep on the gear selector. As far as the backup camera, the resolution is excellent. Wow, that's a really good resolution. We get guidance lines and trajectory, and a small little trailer hitch liner upper in the center. Manual shift controls, if you want to use your small paddle shifters, you can shift the gears in the gear selector in the proper direction to upshift and to downshift. You can throw it back into park. 2 cup holders with these pushy things to keep the drinks in place. Nice little pass-through for a phone. Real e-brake, that's nice for an off-road vehicle, and it's leather wrapped with some contrast stitching. The armrest is soft contrast brown tan stitching. The space, that's the first tier. It's not actually this tiny, but you can throw some business cards and coins up here. Open it up, and we get a very deep console. It's kind of cluttered with space, but I would expect you to fit probably 6, maybe 7, if not more 20-ounce water bottles. Very spacious glove console. The glove box right here, it's actually tiny. You're not going to fit really anything. You probably fit like 2 or 3 pairs of gloves, maybe a pair of shoes if you're under like a size 7, but it's a pretty small overall glove box. I'm liking this oh crap handle that says Wrangler on it. Feels very sturdy. If we didn't mention auto dimming frameless rear view mirror. Here are the latches to open up your roof, and you simply just pull in this direction on both sides, right here and right there. Drop this latch, and you can just literally push, see that? push and remove your roof. So very easy process. I'm not gonna do it because it's a pretty rainy day today. If you guys really wanna see how the roof is removed, leave it in the comment section and I'll get my hands on another Wrangler and show you guys. It's just, I'm sure you've all seen it 1,000 times, so really no reason to waste more time in this review by showing you guys things that you've already seen. But anyway, we can hop out back. That's about it for the front seat. Very impressive. I'm not quite impressed with the luxury features. I would expect power seats, ventilated seats, but as far as like sound system and performance, absolutely fantastic. Out rear, the materials are soft touch still. We get that leather trim with contrast stitching for the armrest, aluminum door handle, and a cargo net. Stepping inside, that running board continues out rear. That is appreciated. We can open up this headrest so I can fit a little easier. I'm a little bit over 6 feet tall, sitting behind my seat settings, and I still have plenty of space. I got about an inch or two of legroom. This is a mid-size classified SUV for the 4-door. The 392 is only available as a 4-door, but the 2-door Jeeps are considered as compact SUVs. Anyway, cargo nets behind both of the front seats. You can open up the windows with these 2 buttons. We get air vents, that's appreciated, but considering the price of this vehicle, to be expected. We get an AC adapter, also appreciated, and 2 USBs with 2 USB-Cs. An additional cargo net behind the passenger seat. We don't really get a whole lot of oh crap handles back here, just this to help you get in and out of your Wrangler. It would be nice to get like an additional one, but you could hold on to the soundbar in emergency situations. The center cubby, we can pull this little string. It's a little bit tough because the whole thing comes down, but it's soft. We get 2 cup holders, pass through, good spot for a phone. But what you see, it's basically what you get. Yeah, has a decent amount of heft to it. The interior lights are LED. Nice, nice, and nice. No sunroof, of course, because this roof is completely removable. But that's about it for the interior of this 2021, but I guess they're all the same, Jeep Wrangler 392. It's an impressive SUV so far. Before we take it out for a drive, let's get a quick look at your tailgate area. And it's pretty tough to pick up because of the rear windshield not up, but we'll lift the rear windshield up. I know a lot of SUVs nowadays don't have a rear windshield that pop up, but the Wrangler still has it. We got the dealer plate that just fell off to make sure that stays on, so when we get pulled over, if we get pulled over, I don't go to jail for not having a tag. We get an Alpine subwoofer. That probably explains why the sound system sounds so incredible. You can remove all these windows and roofs and stuff, and you're still left with a roll cage. Really cool SUV. 12-volt out rear too. As far as secret storage, we can check it out back here. We get a nice little cubby. You can throw some secret stuff in there. We can shut this tailgate right up. And on the rear tailgate, you can see this little sticker, the JL Sport Utility 4x4 Rubicon 392, since 1941, developed in Auburn Hills, Michigan, built in Toledo, Ohio. We'll leave the dealer plate there. I'll figure that out once I turn the camera off. Shut this trunk too. I'm liking that full-size spare tire. LED daytime running lights out rear. 2-inch full lift kit with 35-inch tires. This is a beautiful SUV with some serious performance. And speaking of performance, let's take it out for a drive. All right, guys, now we're just about seen everything we need to see with the inside and outside of this all-new 2022 or 2021 Jeep Wrangler 392. Let's take it out for a drive. And first thing I notice is, of course, the commanding view of the road. You sit pretty high up thanks to this 2-inch lift and the 35-inch tires. The throttle feels very sensitive. The steering feels light, not too heavy, but at low speeds, it feels reasonably on center. It's not sports car steering. Please do not expect it to be. There's a reason this SUV is limited at 112 miles per hour, and you can argue that it should have been limited at a lower speed than that, because at 112 miles per hour, this thing is borderline reckless, as Ricky Bobby said when he was blindfolded by his dad. But right here on the gas, oh, it sounds so good. Oh my gosh. I think this exhaust sounds just as good, if not better, than the Scat Pack 392 that we just reviewed in this channel. But once you're moving at around like 35 miles an hour, you can move the wheel a good ½ an inch in either direction, and you are not changing direction. So the steering is really not on center. At low speeds, it feels like it's on center, but again, there's a reason they limited this SUV at 112 miles per hour. At high speeds, it still feels like an off-road SUV. All right, guys, taking a step out here, multiple lane highway. I'm excited. This thing feels sick. And on the gas. Oh. This thing faster. And just cruising along at like highway speeds, you hear a decent amount of wind noise, and the steering feels pretty sloppy. The steering doesn't feel anywhere close to as good as like the new Bronco. So it still feels like a Wrangler. It doesn't feel like a sporty vehicle whatsoever. Right here. Yeah. That is pretty sporty. So it still feels extremely, extremely strong. Just cruising along though, it's pretty quiet. Like, you hear a little bit of road noise, a little bit of wind noise, but it's really nothing unbearable. The tire noise, you can hear a little bit of tire noise, but still, it's nothing out of control. Taking a step out onto this road over here, yeah, the steering, it's very Jeep Wrangler like. Oh my gosh. Throwing it in, a little bit of body roll. The body roll is not unbearable on the gas. That's what this vehicle is all about. We could probably try an acceleration off the line over here to get onto this real highway, and I'll catch back with you in 1 second. All right, guys, off the line, little brake torque, and let's go. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, this thing is fast. Tell you a lot of things. One thing I can promise you is I was not expecting this SUV to be this fast. We just reviewed a Scat Pack 392, and it is quick, but up until like 70 miles per hour, it's not quicker than this. If we're doing a drag race between a Scat Pack and a Wrangler 392, I expect the Wrangler 392 to be ahead by at least a couple car lengths until the Scat Pack can reach 60, 70 miles an hour. That's when that car will really wake up. I was not expecting this thing to be this fast. I also wasn't expecting the steering to be this bad. This steering is really bad. I can definitely see why the vehicle's limited at 112. I can definitely see why the TRX is also limited at a pretty low speed. And just cruising along the highway speeds, you can hear the wind and road noise. It's not a quiet interior. Neither is the Bronco, but the Bronco has much more on-center steering. So if you don't like the off-roadiness of Wranglers, if you've always thought they were loopy, truck-ish feeling SUVs, you're probably not going to like this that much better. But compared to like a Bronco Raptor, which also costs arguably too much money, this is really not that bad. As soon as we get the chance to step out onto this road, I'll catch right back with you. Well, I can just finish my sentence. So like the Bronco Raptor makes about like what, 400 horsepower and like 450 pound-feet of torque. This feels significantly quicker, like right here off the line. Oh my God. Yeah, like this is gonna blow the Bronco Raptor's doors off. This is a quick SUV, but the Bronco it feels more like a planted road ready off-road SUV, if that makes any sense. The steering feels on center. You don't feel like you're driving a 1980s Cadillac. You don't really feel that way here. I've driven the older Jeeps and they were a lot worse. The older Jeeps, you can turn the wheel a good halfway before the steering actually activated. That's not the case here, but compared to like the other off-road capable SUVs in the segment, it's not quite as refined when it comes to steering. But the 392 has locking front and rear differentials, solid front and rear axles, so you can't expect it to just handle like a sports car. Looks like we have an empty road one more time. It should be a good opportunity to try one more acceleration. I can't even think straight, but on the gas. Yeah, it is fast, but you can feel the front end start to get a little bit light once you're hammering on the gas pedal. It's a thrilling experience overall. Like, I'm really enjoying this experience. I know I keep bashing this vehicle's steering, but to be honest, that's making it more fun. It's making it more of an experience on the road compared to everything else that I've driven, and this is just an overall absolute blast. So if you're looking for an off-road capable SUV, obviously I would recommend the Wrangler 392. This is probably the coolest off-road capable SUV on the road today. So I would recommend the 392. If you're looking for a good handling off-road capable SUV, then I would probably send you towards like the Bronco Raptor, and you'll save a couple $1,000 doing so. But if you're looking for a fast off-road capable SUV, this is by far the best one you're gonna get. So it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for a fast off-road capable SUV, this is the best you're gonna get. If you're looking for a good handling on the road off-road capable SUV, this is not the one to get. So it's all about your preferences. Me personally, I'm going the Wrangler 392 all day, every day. It's just such an experience to drive. It doesn't need to handle like a sports car. If you want something to handle like a sports car, buy a sports car. If you're looking for an off-road vehicle that's guaranteed to put a massive smile on your face, whether you're off-roading or on-roading, go with the Wrangler 392. And a huge thanks to PJ and the rest of the management and staff here at Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram of Tampa Bay for making this review possible. I'll leave a link to their inventory below, and if you're in the Tampa area looking for a new car, SUV, or truck, I would definitely recommend checking these guys out. And a huge thanks to all you guys for watching. I had a great time making this video. This is a sweet performance SUV. This is one of the most impressive SUVs, probably the most impressive off-road capable SUV I've gotten the chance to review on this channel. I had an absolute blast. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. You guys know the channel is just not possible without you guys, and I really appreciate the constant support. But again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Leave a like too. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Leave a comment. Let me know if there's any specific cars or trucks or SUVs you'd like to see reviewed in this channel too. And I'll definitely try to get those videos for you as soon as possible. Other than that, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope all of you have a great day.